Hello! Welcome back. We've never done that in sync before. That was really weird. Welcome back to another episode of the Sunshine and Rain podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Mia.
I'm MP, and this is our guest, Sam.
What's up?
Yep. This is our second time filming. However, first episode being posted with a guest.
Huge.
Super exciting.
We're here.
We're here. We're doing it. This has been in the works for like a month.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Forever.
Yeah, so a little bit of a different setup, but we're super excited. We're so excited to just have a conversation about life and everything.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. I'm excited.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Sam. We've all been friends for a little while now.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all were some of the first people I met when I transferred to Fayetteville. I graduate in May. I make movies. I'm moving to Austin in May. So, I'm excited. It's been good. And got the movie coming out this week. So that's like my whole life right now.
Yeah, so tell everybody what the movie is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so The Space in Between is the movie that I wrote, directed. I've done a lot of stuff for. It's my passion project. I wrote it when I was 15. It's a romantic comedy about a guy who moves onto a retired professor's apple orchard and falls in love with a girl there. It is the first thing I ever wrote that I felt good about, and met some really cool people that helped me make it a reality. So, premiering on Friday. I'm excited.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, April 19th.
Yes, April 19th
is the premiere.
At 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Fayetteville High School.
Yep.
If you're listening to this day of, show up. Please show up.
It'll be so much fun.
Absolutely.
And then you can see it online too,
The
right?
next
The next day, April 20th.
Potentially.
The plan, so I'm not sure what the distribution is going to look like. I know for sure that we know it can get on Amazon Prime, but we want to see if we can get it somewhere else. But I'm not sure.
We'll have details in the description.
I will know pretty soon.
Okay.
We'll have it.
Awesome.
They'll be in the description.
So cool. We also got the opportunity to be extras in the movie.
Yes. Cool. It was so much fun.
Yeah, I think my favorite part was getting to see you be Mr. Director Man.
Yeah.
It was so exciting.
It's so funny, when people I know are there, when I'm working with strangers or people I just met, it's so funny to see them oh yes sir, and I am just not like that at all in my personal life, literally the opposite. And so it's always good, especially, you guys were there and Maggie was there and Ben was there and so many old friends were there. So it was a good mix of people I didn't know that were.
Parker was in it.
Yes. That was so fun. He has a line in the movie.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it was just so fun getting to see everybody, and old friends and new friends, people I'd never met before that now I'm getting to be friends with, and it's just been so much fun. That was always such a fun night.
That was so much fun. I was so glad we went to do it.
Me too. I was glad you guys were there.
Such a cool opportunity. I keep just casually saying to my friends, I was in a movie, I got to be an extra in a movie, and they're like, what?
Yeah.
I'm friends with the director, and they're like, double what? That's crazy. And I'm like, no, it's so cool, just getting to support someone.
Yeah, everybody was so confused. They're like, how did you pull that off?
Yeah, and you're like,
I'm like, I don't know.
You're like,
we
just
just
kind of heard about it, and we did it, and we've been following the movie, and we said, okay, cool, let's do it. Why not? We can help.
It was so fun, and we had more people show up than we thought were going to show up, and so that was the coolest part. It was we're in that tiny house, and if you show up, you'll be able to see the movie. It's a really great scene in the movie, probably one of my favorites. But it was just it was such a small space, and everybody was packed in there, and that just made it so much more fun. Right? It was there was no space. Everybody was hanging out. It was the energy was so good.
Sick. There was one point while we were filming where some of the main characters were kind of in the corner of the kitchen, and you were directing them, and they did it, and then you went, oh my gosh, it was exactly like how it was in real life. And so I just want to hear more about that, what that filming process was like, and your inspiration kind of behind your movie.
It's so strange to think about how it's real now, just because it's been in my head for so long.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote it when I was in high school, and I was kind of projecting what I wanted my life to look like. And so I, at the time, was trying to figure out where I belonged and wasn't really sure. And it was the first time I'd ever wrestled with the film thing. And so it was called Out, and then it's changed names a bazillion times. But I wrote the first script and didn't show it to anybody but my high school librarian. Well, I sent it to her, and she thought it was just she just adored it because I was the only artist that was willing to let her be a part of the process.
That's so
and
sweet.
yeah, she was Sarah Conine. She's the goat. She'll watch this, I promise. She's the best. She's like the best.
That's so precious.
And I like workshopped it with her forever. Well, worked on a couple projects in between, and didn't really think much of it. Like, it was always in the back of my mind that I wanted to make it, but it was just so precious to me that I was nervous that if I made it and it wasn't the way that I wanted, that I would be devastated. And so I made a couple projects, and every time in between, I'm like, oh, is it time to make, whatever it was named at that time?
Right.
And then just kind of lucked into some people that were like, I'd love to read what you have. And that was the only script I had done at the time. And so I was like, sure. I was like, just go ahead and read this.
Yeah.
And they read it and were like, oh, we really love this. And so it was like one person read it, and then 75 people had read it, and we were making it. I didn't have any time really to process it. It was
just going.
Yeah. It was,
wow.
Which, I mean, that was the way I wanted it to be, where it felt natural. And yeah, it didn't feel like forced at all. It felt it was so free flowing the whole way through.
Did y'all ever do like a big table read with like someone reading each character so you
Yeah.
could see how it would actually
It was so crazy. Like, it actually was so surreal to see that. Because they're, like Davis Jordan and Luke Faddis are people that I've been friends with for forever, that have been there through the script changes and everything. And so to get to see them be in it, and they're sitting next to, Lewis is a friend from middle school that I thought I'd never see again. He plays the lead.
No way.
Yeah, Lily I'd never met. And to see, Lewis, middle school friend, sitting next to stranger, Lily sitting next to lifelong best friend Davis, and seeing them interact for the first time, it was it was like magic. It was so cool. We left and I was like, I can't believe this is happening, And in comparison, that's like one of the more boring things that happened, but it felt so significant because it's the first time I'd ever heard anybody read anything that mattered to me out loud, really.
It's not boring. It's part of the story.
Yeah. It's like some things have been so like I can't believe we got to do XYZ. There's stuff in the movie that like there's a scene in the movie the first thing I ever wrote. And to get to see that come to life was like, I cannot believe it, If 15-year-old me saw that, he'd be like, what? I can't believe we got to do that, So that was really special.
Yeah.
That's really sick. I love that.
How is making a movie and like the process of reuniting with old friends, new friends, and just like in general affected outside of your life? Like relationships or just time and everything.
Yeah, I think the thing that I always say when I talk about how the movie's relationships develop is, so Josh Howington is our producer, and he made the last feature that we did together. And when we premiered that feature, Pennington, his now wife was in the stands, and she saw him on stage for the first time, and then I stood beside him at his wedding. Like, isn't that just like the
Is that the wedding you like just went to? That's crazy.
Yeah. And they like for the first time she like saw him and was like, oh, like he's cute. Was at the movie premiere. And so just to get to be a part of significant moments like that, and like Davis is one of my very best friends, and he goes to Washington, to get to have him, come up to Fayetteville and dwell with my people, like that is just so cool. It's like the crossovers are so fun, and I don't know, like just getting to be the catalyst for new friendships has been so cool.
Right.
And then selfishly also getting to make new friends is just the coolest. So
I don't think that's all.
No, not at all.
And I would spend time with the people that we worked with a bazillion times over again. It was so, I cannot stress how fun it was. I mean, the 7 days we spent in the cabin were like the funniest 12 hours days of my life. It was so much work, but I just had a blast. Like you can't, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
That's is there any scene from like when you originally wrote the script to now that like what's changed the most about it that you didn't think would change?
I think,
if anything.
Yeah, so when I first wrote it, Luke Faddis' character Patrick was like a actual father figure, like a genuine like adult,
right.
That had some like seasoning of life to him.
Okay.
And then I met some people during COVID who I was like, oh wait, like that's like they've got the like magic that I want to put in the film. And so that was when the first rewrite happened, was I was like, oh wait, these people are really special. Like if I could just like the way I feel around those people, if I could capture that in the film, then it'll feel like, then I know people will feel the way that I felt, and if people feel a fraction of that, then I did a good job. And so, that changed, and also just like, I feel like I learned what I wanted to say in between, because the movie has explores this idea of like duality between good and bad. Like, you have to have boring to have fun, otherwise you don't know what boring is and what fun is. You have to have the scale, you have to have the spectrum for you people to understand.
Absolutely.
And so that was something I didn't know how to say. I was feeling it, but I didn't know how to put it into words. And so time was really what developed that. I mean, that came over the process of like writing it in high school and then deleting it and, hating it and wanting to quit movies. And I moved to Hawaii and wrote it in Hawaii. Like, that was where the rewrite happened. That is the script now. And so that, being away for a summer, not knowing anybody on the island, not having communication with anyone back home aside from my parents.
Wow.
That was where How
old were you when that?
That was the first semester, the summer after we met.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
And so that was when, it's so crazy. I deleted the script and was never going to make it. Right before I came to Fayetteville, I was like, I'm done making movies. This is just not for me. And then right before I flew out to Hawaii, I was sitting in the airport, and that high school librarian sent me the script.
Really?
No way.
And was like, look what I found. And I read it and was like, on the plane, and was like, wait. I was like, this is so fun. I was like, I have to make this. So I spent the whole summer rewriting it. And that was where the idea of the space in between came from, was I was in between, like, I just transferred. And so I was in between, old friendships and new friendships. I was in between people because I was in a place where, I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
And so all I knew was, I was like, man, this is really lonely, but also probably the most fun I've ever had. And I was like, how is that possible? And so then as I explored that, I was like, oh, like, the
duality.
Being alone in Hawaii gives me an opportunity to recognize the fun that I'm having, because I'm like, I get to experience both at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is tough to put into words, but I think we do a decent job of, in the movie, like, people understand it, I think. I hope they do, at least.
Yeah. What's kind of your biggest takeaway that you hope people have, like, from the movie?
Yeah, I think from the actual product, yes. I think, that's like the thesis of the film or whatever. I hope people, we say all the time, we took a risk so you can. Like, we put our money on the line, we put our time on the line, we put our, like, our creative reputation on the line, in hopes that you would go to the premiere, and then that person you've had a friend crush on, or that, like, girl you've always had a crush on, like, that you would take a risk and, ask them to be your date to the premiere, or that you would go up and say, I just got to tell you, like, I've wanted to be friends with you for so long, or that you would go on that trip because we proved that it was possible, or that you would, make your art or make your music or whatever, because we were willing to trailblaze and prove that it was possible, for ourselves, and then get to be a part of helping other people. And that's been the coolest part. It's like Ben Boudreau, I have to shout him out. Ben, he'll watch this. He's the GOAT. He's our composer for the movie. He's like, he's a high schooler, and like,
no way. That's so cool.
And he's like, he's just a dog. Like, he just works so hard, and he just kills it. Like, seriously. And
how did you meet him? Like, how did that
come about? Composes. He was the producer of. Do you know Maggie Jackson? I don't know if you know
the name.
She was an extra at the party. Okay. Well, she wrote a song, Ice Skating, that I really liked.
Oh, yeah. Yes. We were in the room with her. She was telling us that she was going to write a song for the movie.
Yes. So she and I are childhood friends.
Okay.
And when she released the song, I was like, oh, it's interesting. Who's this guy that she's posting with? Followed him. He followed the movie.
Okay.
And honestly, like, he was just working hard, and he liked every single post and commented, and he liked every single story. And eventually I was like, we had a group that was going to do the score for us, and they dropped out. And I was like, what are we going to do? And I was like, this kid's been, like, I might as well give him a shot. Mm-hmm. And fortunately, it was the right decision. The score might be, he's too good for a movie, but he's really good.
I love that. But you also gave him the opportunity to, like, build his profile,
right? And that's like the point, is that we get to be, he's a guy who composes music, but he really wants to be in film.
Yeah.
And so we give him a chance to bridge that gap, and in
Right.
exchange, like, we get to see his dream come true. And that's so cool. And it just, I don't know, like, that's way more fun than any movie you're ever going to make, is getting to see somebody be like, I never thought I'd get to do X, Y, Z, because I feel like that every day.
I mean, you have to, like, give us a push for this to even happen, in my opinion. Like,
I agree. It was like, he's accomplishing his dreams, like, why can't
we? Like, what do we have to lose?
Yeah. And that's the thing, I don't think anybody, like, has anything to lose.
No.
Like, sure, like, there's, like, little stuff, like, I mean, there's a part of me that's like, oh, man, I really want to make my money back. Right? But also, like, I wouldn't trade the money we spent on the movie, which is, like, very minor in the grand scheme of things, in exchange for, like, getting to see somebody come up and say, man, I never thought I'd get to do this. That is just, I mean, that's like a drug. Like, I'm like, oh, that's so cool. You know what I mean?
Being able to have that impact on people.
Yeah. And also them also, like, I get to chase my dream. So it's like everybody wins, because I get to do the thing I've always wanted to do. And, there's a lot of people who just also want to do the same thing as me. And so, come on.
Building everybody up and not, like, competing, of, like, pushing, like, I don't have to push anybody else down to get to where I want to be.
Yeah.
Right. And I think especially in the art space, like, there is a tendency to, I mean, we get called, unprofessional or unorthodox or illegitimate all the time for the way we run our set. I mean, we hear it all the time. And we don't care, because we see success in the way that we do things, which is we see success, like, interpersonally.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm so curious, like, what, like, for what reason, what purpose are they saying that you'll do unorthodox? Because obviously we've never been on a film set other than the space in between. So.
I think a lot of people, so there is a system of way that things are done. Right. Yeah. Like there are people at the top, and then each department has, like, a head, and then underneath those departments, there are people, and usually the people towards the bottom, like, are not allowed to interact with the people at the top, and it works because it works, and it is a great system because it produces a quality product. We implemented some of that in this film, and it really worked. And that's a testament to our John Brown University people. They were the ones who taught me the system, and it worked. So credit to them. They really, if you're making a movie, you need to work with John Brown people. They are such hard workers. And they taught me, and they didn't make me feel like an idiot, because I didn't know anything about the system. But there is an element to the system that I don't necessarily agree with, which is that, like, the production assistant doesn't mingle with the director.
Interesting.
And, and this person doesn't speak to the actor, and this person does this, and they don't do this, like, if you're a producer, you don't move a light, because you're a producer. Right. And I just, I think we do things faster, more efficient, and it's more fun to have everybody be fluid. Right. And so, nobody is too good to move a light. Nobody is too good to hold the script, or to rehearse with an actor, or to run to the store and go pick up food. Right. And that includes me. And so that's a standard that we try to set that I think throws people off sometimes, of, like, why is the director moving a light? Or, which fortunately, I didn't even really have to do that much of that, really at all, because our, like, lighting team was just so good.
But the fact that you set that precedent of, like, I'm doing whatever needs to be done, like, I'm not in this position where I'm unreachable, creates a more communal and, like, family adjacent and friendship workspace.
And I think it started, like, I did theater before I did film, and my high school theater teacher, Sheridan Posey, who's, like, the GOAT, she would always say that theater is magic, and that the family that you create through a show is the magic, right? It's not just the product that you put out. So I wanted to bring that to film, because I was like, wow, I felt so empowered when I was in theater, and Miss Posey was leading us. So I'm going to do everything in my power to make everyone on my set feel that way too. Whether you're, and it comes down to, like, one of the guys who's an extra in the movie, Aiden Dixon. I don't know if you guys got to meet him, but he, like, has always wanted to make movies. And I was like, dude, let's do it, Got him a line in the movie, and then, I just got a movie with him yesterday. Went and saw Shrek 2. It's like, but that means, like, it means a lot to me that you know, whether you're there for a day or for the whole 14 days that we shot, you know, it means a lot to me that people will give up their time. And so, you know, like, y'all could have asked me to be here at 2 a.m. and I would have, because like, I feel like a personal, like if I got to be, you know, if you get to be a part of mine, like I want to be a part of yours.
Yeah.
And then hopefully someone in our network, you know, they get their shot and they remember that all of us in this space were willing to have their back, you know, when it was working 12-hour days for free.
For real.
Which is so tough. But, you know, but they did it, you know, and the movie's better for it. The movie's better for everybody that was there. So I love him.
I feel like there's such a service aspect for this movie.
Yeah.
Like in the behind the scenes, like y'all were truly just serving something like greater than yourselves.
I mean, we were
so
there for a few nights, like not nights,
literally one night.
One night, like a few hours, and that we saw it of like how much everybody cared, because there was the dynamic of like everybody's putting in work where it's needed, and we're all trying to like build this amazing thing together. Yeah,
I really wish that everybody could have been there. Like, I mean, there are some people that Davis obviously, and Emma Smith was not there, who was just the best, and Cable Takaka and Sam Patterson. Like, there are so many great people that just didn't get a chance to be there, and I wish that everybody could have seen what it was like in that cabin, because it was like, it was addicting. But I mean, seriously, the movie was so many answered prayers, and I mean, Lewis and Lily, I mean, we didn't have them until we just started really praying about it. Like, and that, I mean, literally, I don't know, we've talked about it a little bit, that I ran into Lewis, like, crying and praying in Kimball about not having a lead actor. Have we ever talked about this?
Like, I haven't heard about this.
So Lily and Lewis, it happened 2 days in a row. Wow. We did auditions, and we had a ton of incredible people audition. And it was pretty easy to put people in spots. But I didn't have anybody to play Jack, and I didn't have anybody to play Rachel. And, you know, they're the leads of the movie. That's the core of, like, and, you know, like, those are the characters that I've sat with for years, and I wanted to do them right. Yeah. And I was freaking out. And I had a class on Thursdays that was at 9. And so I was, like, walking across campus and just praying about it. Lord, if you want, you know, if your hand's in this, you know, make it undeniable. Like, give me a sign that we're on the right track, you know. And was walking up the stairs, and literally was like crying, like, our movie's not going to get made. I was like, it's going to be a subpar project, so we don't have 2 great people at the head of it. And literally, like, was like, amen. Turned the corner and, like, smoked Lewis. And he was like, what? He was like, you're in Fayetteville? I was like, you're in Fayetteville? He was like, yeah. I was like, what are you doing? I looked down, and my class had been canceled. All my friends were not in class. And I was like, hey. And so we sat there and talked for 5 minutes, and he was like, I'm a theater major. And I was like, oh, yeah? And so I was like, you don't get a choice. Like, audition. He was like, what? Do you have, like, some, like, supporting roles? I was like, no, the lead. And he was like, okay. And did it and killed the audition. And I was like, all right. And then the next day, so I was like, I just got done watching Lewis's, and I'm like, wow, Lewis is really great. We got to find somebody, you know, we got to find somebody who can match his energy to play Rachel. And I was freaking out. And I remember being like, Lord, like, I don't know. And, you know, like with dudes, I could find a dude pretty easily. But it was like, you know, we did a lot of, like, incredible girls audition, but I just, like, was still holding out for the right one. Just hoping that, you know, somebody would basically fall into our lap and we would be like, perfect. And I was like, Lord. And I, like, as I was sitting there, like, got an email. Like, my email's, like, pulled up. I'm like, amen. Probably, like, 2 or 3 minutes ago, like, ding, email. And it's from a casting website that I'd signed up for in high school when I wanted to act. And I was like, oh, it's funny. Like, let's take a walk down memory lane. And clicked on it. And Lily was the first person that popped up on the database.
Wow.
And it was like Fayetteville, Arkansas. Wow. And I was like, what the heck? So I got on got on Instagram and was like, all right, God, if you want me to do this, I'm willing to risk this embarrassment. And literally sent her a DM, like slid into her DMs and was like, I was like, hey, Lily, this is so awkward. I don't even know you, but you have a backstage profile from like a year and a half ago. Was curious if you still acted. Let me know. And she responded like 5 minutes later and was like, yes, it's my dream. And I was like, perfect. Could you send a video audition? She was like, can we just meet in person? And so like 4 or 5 hours later, maybe like the next day, we were in Doomsday, like meeting up. And I was like, what? I was like, she's so great. And so she like sent in a video audition. I liked it, and so Lewis and Lily were the leads, and I was like, what?
Wow.
But
that whole story, I had goosebumps the whole time.
Same.
Like, I was like, that's
like,
incredible.
that's like the whole. That was like the whole thing.
Yeah.
Was just, you know, we have to figure this out. What are we gonna do? And everyone on set a bunch too. Just like, oh man, I feel like we're being attacked from this angle. Like, Lord, just protect us today, and we'll get through, and we'll figure it out. And, you know, just taking the next right step, especially in production.
How has your faith, you've kind of touched on this a little bit, but how has your faith grown through this process, or how has it changed or developed?
I think the big thing, especially that I'm wrestling with now, I was just talking to somebody about this last night. There is a tendency where I wasn't sure if I was going to have to edit any of the movie, and I ended up having to edit the whole thing mostly by myself with help from Ben and from Matt McCann, who are lifesavers.
You did majority.
Yes, I like.
Wow,
oh my gosh,
you can give yourself credit for that.
It's been a whole thing, but there is a tendency that I have to like put on this like ego front, because you know when you spend 500 hours on something, it's like you reach a point where you exhaust every single level of motivation that exists. You know, it's I'm doing this for, you know, I want my mom to be proud of me. I want my friends to, you know, have people say that they're proud of them. But eventually, like I got to a point where I get to a point where I'm like, this is all about me. Like this doesn't get done without me, you know? And having to like really lean into the fact that the film literally was not possible without God, and he's given us examples of that being true with Lewis and with Lily, and different times on set where it was like, this is not going to get done, Lord, please, and then boom, answer prayer in like some huge way, you know. So especially this week as editing is going on, leaning into that the Lord has allowed the project to make it thus far, and that I believe that he's going to continue to not bless us, but like glorify him through the conversations that are going to happen, and the conversations that have already happened, and the seeds that have been planted and stuff like that. That will hopefully, you know, we'll have over 300, 400 people that are able to be a part of those conversations, you know, on Friday. And, I don't know, like that's so. But that being said, like it is incredibly difficult. I was being transparent. Like it has been so tough not to be like, this doesn't get done without me. Because when you direct and produce and write, and you know, it's like edit. It's like it's like
you're putting your
I have 6.
Into it.
Yeah, it's like I have 6 credits to my name. Like this doesn't get done without me. But really having to step outside of that and be like, no, without God, it was never going to happen from the beginning. You know, and fortunately, we have some just, I mean, like real champions of the faith on the production that have my back, and you know, even, you know, when it can feel like I'm alone, I know that if I have to, I can go to them and be like, I just like, you know, you're going to carry me over the finish line, because it's going to take everything that I've got to get this done, you know. That, and also just like, it is so crazy that I had been praying to get to do something like this for so long that it's coming true, you know? And for a little while there, it was like, it's never going to happen. Like, it was so tough to be like, you know, there was a 2.5 year period where I didn't make a project because I like thought that, you know, I was like working through some stuff, like working through, is this for me? You know, like, am I good enough at this? Am I wasting my time? Is this my calling? And like to get to see the Lord even now, like seeing in that 2.5 years, seeing, well, you met this person and you did this and you like reconnected this person, and now they're all here, you know, and little things that you thought were failures actually were huge wins, and you just didn't even know it.
Seeing all of it from the past like come to fruition.
Perspective.
And it's like I can't even imagine what's going to happen in the future, you know. And I'm trying to work this one to where, you know, if this is the last project I ever get to work on, you know, that I did it excellently. And but like, I mean, there are just, I mean, countless people in the production that it's like without little things that like I did not think the Lord had a hand in, that he definitely did. I mean, it literally would never have been possible. You know, we met, you know, supporting actors in our movie at Popeye's drive-through lines and on other film sets, and you know, just like and like they're like dear friends to me because the Lord has allowed those
Right.
relationships to flourish
Right.
through film, and that's
Yeah.
that's all you can ask for. To
I mean,
get
that's
to,
how we became better friends.
Yeah.
All three of us.
So, like
Yeah.
through the film,
Through the film and
since the-
reconnecting
Yeah.
because of it.
and that's what it's all about to
So
me. Is like
beautiful.
it's so cool to get to see the Lord's hand and stuff, and
Mhm.
Oh, for sure.
especially something of like this size, which in comparison, to what could come in the future is like incredibly minuscule.
No, but this is a big
It's like,
one.
oh yeah, and I mean it's the biggest thing I've made, but it's like
But in comparison to eternity,
Right.
and the Lord's sacrifice,
And-
like
right.
how does it even compare?
And
to
even, like,
that He still called me to it.
I can't even, we're laughing about, we're doing like a timeline type thing on the wall. And it's like some of the movies that we've made with like little like write-ups on them. And it's like, I remember watching the first movie we ever made was called Settlers Ridge. And I remember watching that. It's like made on iPhone. And I remember being like, this is the coolest thing that has ever existed ever. And watching it a million times and being like, wow, it'd be such a dream if, God would let me, make a short film with people with a real camera.
Yeah.
And it's like 5 years later, we're doing a feature, and it's like with a cooler camera than I could have ever imagined and way more talented people than I could have ever imagined. It's like, what the heck? Like, I'm like floored that I get to be a part of it,
Yeah.
And our team is just the best. I literally could talk forever.
I love it.
They are the goats. Like, I just, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We're lucky.
How did it look through the process, like knowing you kind of being like the lead of this movie, having a strong faith, knowing that you're seeking the Lord? What did it look like maybe if people underneath you maybe didn't know the Lord, or still bringing him into a space that typically people like wouldn't bring their faith into?
Yeah. I think for me, the biggest thing was I wanted to be someone who saw people and tried to understand people. We had people from different places and different backgrounds, both faith and just like family lifestyle stuff.
Yeah.
And to get to be a part of, just to get to be a part of like loving on people, like that was so cool. And and like gospel conversations and
Right.
stuff like that. That's obviously like the most impactful thing you can do. Like that's really cool. And also I got to just like, love on people and like get to know people who are like,
Exactly.
I talked to a guy that is now a good friend of mine, and we had a conversation that was like, he was like, well, I'm not a believer. And we've been friends for a while, worked on movies together in the past. And I was like, that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I was so scared to tell you. And I was like, oh man, like, I wish you would have told me sooner,
I've had conversations like that where it breaks my heart because like they were scared because of like a past reaction from a different believer.
Yeah. And I just, I want to be somebody that, that people feel understood around.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I think, and that I'm somebody that can listen and just hear.
Yeah.
And I'm not perfect at that. I like mess up on that all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning, and that's part of the journey. But
Yeah.
getting to do stuff like the film is a great opportunity because I'm in a position of authority, as little as I like to admit that is the case. Like I get to prove, not only as a like friend, but as a leader, like I get to prove that I'm not going to be above, just sitting down and having a good time and talking and getting to know somebody's story and and I mean, I'm not perfect at it and I messed up a ton, even on set where it's like I lost my temper or things didn't go my way and I was like, it's all because of me, I made this happen, it has not been a perfect road, but
it never is.
No, I mean none of us are. None of us can be.
No.
just trying to be in a place where people who leave our set recognize that we're different, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And I think in that regard, I think we did as a team. I think we did a great job.
Awesome.
I'm just feeling like some of the stuff we get to hear from people is just like, I've worked on a lot of sets, and this is the most fun I had. That it just means the world to me.
Awesome.
That's so sweet.
But
I'm pretty excited.
and that's the best. That's the best thing you want to hear when you're in charge of something is that people loved working with you. Like that's
hands down.
You know, and people be like, "Oh, I can't wait to be on the next one." You know,
Oh,
that's like what? Like, I remember being a kid and being like, "I made my movies with my 5 friends."
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, wow, if we had 10, the cool stuff we can make is like, we had over 100 work on TSIB. You know, it's like, what the heck? You know, and that's not even counting people who are going to be at the premiere. They're like, my dream was to, you know, like Aiden, my dream is to make movies, and I didn't think it was possible. I saw you do this, and now I'm like, I want to work on your next one.
Yeah.
You know, and then you say, send me a script. I want to read yours so we can work on yours. And they're like, are you kidding me? You know, it's like, I can direct my movie, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I'll go work on it. You know, I'll go do flights for you. That's what it's all about. You know, it's a tough road. And the big, like, especially big projects, it's easy to be like, I wrote and directed and produced, and it's my money. You know, it's all about me. But that's a line that I'm trying to learn how to walk with time. But
you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm getting better.
And you're.
I'm getting better.
I feel like you're.
I feel like
of your journey.
I think
like
you're
I
going
don't
to
see this ending.
Me
for you
too.
anytime soon.
I hope not. I hope that
you have such a passion for it. I feel like the Lord has so placed you in this position that like I'm so excited to see where you go.
Me too. Thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just so. I don't know. I'm just stoked.
You're gonna see him get an award on TV.
You're gonna get your Oscar.
Yeah, you're gonna get an Oscar, and we're gonna be like,
and we're gonna be the ones bringing you the champagne.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
One day, you know, it'd be cool. Like, it's so strange that, you know, I don't get it wrong. Like, there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about getting to win an Oscar. You know, getting to be on stage or getting to work with famous people. Like, I think about it all the time. You know, I like get geeked about it. But there is a like something has changed. I think in this production where I was like, wait, actually, like, don't know if I want to work with them. Like
you want to help build.
Where people are so cool. Like, why would I go hang out with a stranger? You know, it's like, But the beauty of it is like, when I bring Davis along, like, I can go meet any stranger and have a great time. You
That's
know?
how I feel about bringing.
Yeah, see, it's like
with your best friend,
Your
you're
best
like,
friend,
we're gonna
conquer the world.
Yeah, literally.
it's like we got 15. You know, it's like we got 15 best friends on our production together, and like, you mean I get to go pick like 85 other people to help? You know, and I don't know any of them. Like, at least 15 more of them are going to be new best friends. Then we have 30. You know, and that's how it's been on this, where it's like we made it just with like 8 to 10 people. We made Pittons in with like 25 people, and now it's like over 100 for this. It's like I can't even imagine what'll be next. You know,
Big things.
but that's part of the, you know, that's part of the growth. And I think we try to have a level of like, we want to be excellent, you know. We want, I mean, we're chasing like the biggest independent film premiere in the history of the state of Arkansas. Like, that's, you know, that's where we want to be. But
what would actually make it reach that goal?
It's something over 500. I have the actual number written down.
Okay, gotcha.
But it's like, you know, we're chasing that. And I'm chasing accolades and all that stuff. But really, that, I mean, it comes at the price of, you know, wanting to be able to make bigger stuff so I can like bring more people with me. You know, I always tell, you know, Davis wants to be a pastor. You know, Faddis is a youth pastor. You know, and we were talking the other day, like, you know, I hope that this works, so you have to come with me. You know, it's like, and I'm not going to let you. You know, I'm not going to do it without you. And that's, you know, I don't want to, you know, pump and dump, like grab a, yeah, like I don't want to bring a group up and then, you know, I'm better than you now, so see ya. You know, I don't ever want to be in that position. And I think the industry does have that like mindset to a degree. And it's not really what I'm about, you know. And I think that shows in the way that like Davis and I are like forever tied because of the projects that we worked on, you know, and then we pick up, you know, Josh Reddings or Levi Kopich or whoever, you know, and then now all 4 of us are tied, you know, and the next one, you know, people see that we're tied and they are like attracted to that and they want to be a part of it, you know. Where it's like, you know, I feel like most people that were extras in the movie would be more inclined to like actually show up multiple days on the next one.
We would do it.
I absolutely would.
See what I'm saying?
I've been thinking about that a lot. Of like, I was like, dude, if I could actually audition for the next one, like I'm there.
And it's so fun, like,
or even work behind the scenes.
Or
like, I think we both saw, like, we fell in love with getting to see that.
And it's so fun, like,
there were so many things.
And how many people are out there that that just didn't know that was possible because we're in Arkansas or whatever, you know. And I don't like, we try not to make excuses. We want to be the best in Arkansas, but you know, it's not always about being. And this is something I wrestle with a lot. Is like, it's not always about being the best. It's about being in accordance with the Lord's will.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that, I mean, like literally last night I was talking to a friend and I was like, I'm not like, yesterday was bad. Like I'm not, it was all about me, I'm going to make this movie great because it's me, and having to wake up today and be like, that's not the attitude I'm going to have. I'm going to go back to work and I'm going to put 8 hours in again today. And I'm going to try to make it about the Lord. And, I'm going to mess up at some point today and say it's all about me. And, trying to get up the next day and do it over and over and over again and hoping that, you eventually reach that perfect day that, you're perfectly in accordance with the Lord's will, which is like impossible because we're sinners. But but it's like just trying to strive after that is, it's a great thing to chase because it's impossible without God. So,
yes.
And you grow so much knowing that like it's unachievable.
Yeah. And that's, I love when, like, clearly I'm making movies. Like, I love the idea that it feels impossible. Like, it felt impossible 3 years ago. We made Aegis, and now we're making, Space Between. And selling 300 tickets felt impossible back then, and we still got a week. It's like, that's part of the, like, it's so cool just to get to be like, oh, it's so impossible until we do it, and then it's like,
exactly,
what's impossible next, we made this one for $4,000 and, it does not look like it was made for $4,000.
That's crazy.
And
I would have expected it to cost way more than that. Not even gonna lie.
Yeah, we spent less than $4 on it, and it's like
that's impressive.
So cool.
Yeah, but it's like we it's like I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make the impossible possible for my team, so that way other people realize that it's possible for them too, and then believers who are in accordance with the Lord's will, like whether they succeed or not, they'll be able to say like, oh man, I really, I chased it. I took the risk because, Sam and Josh and Levi and whoever were willing to risk it there.
Yeah.
Which is scary because you're like putting your, I'm not really one for having my name like mega in the spotlight. It's fun in theory, but it's actually not. But it's cool. Like, but it's worth it to see, the like 10 or 15 people that, their dreams came true because we were willing to put in so many hours when nobody else was watching, that makes it all worth it. Then on Friday, people's dreams are going to come true and people are going to see them. But like,
I think one of the things I'm most excited for, like, I have a sorority sister in a movie. Like, that's so cool. Like, Lily and I have known each other for 2 years now. Like, we've never been super close, but, like, we still knew who each other were.
Yeah, she's the best.
And then to know that, like, I knew you, like, and she got put on your movie. I was like, that's literally with, crazy.
Like, a
friend.
Sorry, friend. Doing the extras thing, and like it was just crazy.
Yeah, a bunch of my see-through friends ended up showing up there, and I was like, "What are y'all doing here?"
She's just like,
what are you?
And that's like,
we saw
the connection. It's like, and we like reconnected through Parker because of that night too. Like, it's crazy.
And it's like, what? That's so like to get to be a part of that is so cool, and it makes. Really, I was telling yesterday, like, it will be all worth it on Friday.
Right. Yeah.
And it's so much work. And if there was any other way, just honestly, like, if there's any other way that I could, like, not have to be the one to do it, I would not do it. But it's going to require, like, for us to have, like, an extraordinary experience, it's going to require extraordinary work and a level of obsession with it. And that, like, Friday's going to be so cool because, like, there's people that you guys don't even know yet that you're going to get to meet.
Exactly.
Oh, we're so excited.
And like, for me, that
people from the cabin, people from those 14 weeks.
And that gets me excited because I'm like, how many people are going to go up and be like, wow, Emma, I loved you in the movie. You would have no reason to speak to her outside of the movie.
Right.
But you may be like, what? She's so, she seems so cool. Yeah. And then she is as advertised. Emma is like the best. I like, oh my, you guys have to go.
That's so sweet. I'm excited.
She's the only person in my life that we have been friends for like years now, and like about over a year and a half, probably 2 years. She's the only person in my life that every time I see, I feel the need to prove that I'm cool to.
I feel the same way with her.
If she watches,
you do?
Yes.
With me?
You're so sweet, and I'm like, you make me want to be better. I love you.
Oh, that was way sweeter than I was
That
just
was
like,
so
I want Emma to
sweet.
think I'm Aurora. Like, I'm like, we'll be sitting there and she'll be like, what have you been up to? I'm like, oh, playing Xbox. What are you doing? She's like, well, I went up to this mountain and wrote a poem about it. And then I wrote a song. And she's like, want to hear it? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm thinking she's going to show me a video. She's like, whoop, guitar. And I'm like, what the heck? She's so good at everything. It's like obnoxious how good she is.
Yeah.
And like, Davis is one of the most caring people I've ever met. Like Cable and Sam Patterson, like their relationship is like the most wholesome, adorable thing ever. Like it's so, and they just work so hard. Cable was there to do literally whatever we did, and Sam was in another show and showed up. And Lewis was there every day for 12 hours. Like, well, I'm going to see them tonight to shoot a scene in the movie that we like forgot about.
Perfect.
It's like, and like their willingness to immediately do that, like, no questions asked. Like that is, I mean, we have just got the best team, and the fact that they're going to get to reap the benefit of work that I'm putting in, like that is like, that's just so fun. Yeah. And nobody's doing what we're doing. Like I tell myself that all the time.
I don't know anyone here. Like I don't know a single other person that's like trying to like make what y'all are making. No, like that has the heart behind it that y'all have.
And I hope that that somebody says like, wow, if making a movie is that big, which I mean all art is just like incredibly, like especially working with Ben recently, it's like he's so good at it. Like being good at music is like a wizard thing that Prince will never be good at. Right. I hope that there's somebody out there that is like very talented in an artistic field, and they're like, wow, if Sam Conine can dedicate like months and months and months of his time to one night, I can dedicate weeks and weeks and weeks to a painting or to, a friendship or a relationship or whatever, because I was willing to like put myself out there in a huge way and just try to prove that it's possible. That's so cool. And we're getting to see it already to where it's like, I mean, just the most, especially with like, we got some stuff coming up that's really exciting and stuff like that where it's like, oh man, we're going to get to like make even more people's dreams come true that don't even know us yet, that are going to show up to the premiere because their friend brought them.
Right.
Like you may bring somebody has secretly been interested in, poetry or whatever. And because of that, like, their dreams come true because they were willing to take a risk to show up, because you were willing to take a risk to bring them, because I was willing to take a risk to, to make the movie because God was willing to take a chance on me. That
I
is
love
like,
that.
And it's just this like big long chain of risks that were taken, and it all goes back to the fact that God was willing to, and like, hey, like, I think you could do this for my glory. Like, go run. Like, let it happen, make it happen. And, if you fail, it's okay because you can always come back, and that has been like the story of this is like a redemption of why I'm getting to make art again and love it, because like the Lord has been great. The Lord has been gracious,
Would you, so I don't fully know your testimony, but so when you were first making your original stuff, or when you were first interested in film, did you know the Lord at that point? And then, so now, like, making this film, like, you do have, like, we very evidently see you have a strong relationship with God, and now you're bringing him into everything you do. Do you think that's what changed your passion and, like, give you the ability to do it again, or?
Yeah, I think so. Actually, I feel pretty confident that's it. So we made, the first one that we made was called Aegis, and we just made it because, I just like wanted to prove that I could do it to myself, really. Like I wasn't really like, there was no agenda other than, I don't know if I'm good enough to do this. Let's find out, Well, the second one, we had an experience making Aegis that like left me kind of burnt. Like I just felt like I had a chip on my shoulder to prove that I was good enough to do it. So I felt I needed to prove it again. And so I'd grown up in the church, but I like totally, the first one was more like, I just didn't think the movie was going to go anywhere. I thought 50 people were going to see it on YouTube, so I just like, and then 125 people showed up, and it was like, what the heck, this is possible, Then when we made Penitent, the second one, I was so focused on, proving people wrong, and and it was bad. Like it was not good, and it was confusing, and you couldn't hear it. It was just terrible. And like a lot of the people that we worked on that film with, like we aren't working on it with on this one because like I did not lead well. And so there was a 2.5 year period where I was like, I'm not fit or qualified, or the Lord won't use me. And so I like kind of went into hiding creatively. I was like working and doing like promotional stuff for organizations and churches and stuff like that, but I wasn't making anything for me. Like I was just like had no drive to do it. And there got to one where I was like, I'm never gonna make a movie again. And then I got to Fayetteville and was like, wow, like there's a lot of opportunity here, but I still hate movies. Like I hate what they do to me. And so did that. And then when I got to Hawaii, it was the first time that I'd been so isolated without distractions that I would really had time to evaluate everything, like everything, not just like the film thing, but you know, a lot of growth that had to happen. And I was sitting there, and I remember where I was like at the church that I worked at. There was like a crow's nest type thing that overlooked the island. I was sitting up there, and I like got a notification. And it was like a Snapchat memory of when I like had rewritten like another script. And I was like, oh man, I remember that feeling. And I was like, oh, I love that. You know, and I remember thinking like, yeah, but I'm not like good enough to do that. Like the Lord will not use me in that way because I messed up so badly on the last one. And I just was not caring about people, and I was doing it for my own intentions. And I remember being like, you know what? Like, if the Lord really wants me to do it, he's gonna bring that passion back. And so I remember praying and being like, Lord, I love movies. If you want me to make movies, like bring that back. I don't know what that's gonna look like.
Wow. And
then, you know, I sent a text to Emma and said, man, I really love this script that I have. It's called The Summer After That at that point. She read it and was like, it's actually really cute. Like, that was really fun. And I was like, oh, that made me feel good. I was like, wait, she read it and I liked it enough to give it to her. And I hadn't sent it to anybody. I hadn't sent a script to anybody in a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a second. Like, oh my goodness. And so I rewrote it. And, you know, and my dream at that point was like, I'm not going to make it until I'm at a point where I feel like the Lord is in it. As I waited and waited and waited. And I waited a whole nother year and didn't make films for a whole nother year after that. Wow. And then I had just like, it's so weird. I don't know if this is God, and if it is, it's like he's like the funniest person ever. I had a dream. I had a dream like 2 days before I met Levi Kopich, who eventually led us to making TSIB. That it was like I was in a room I'd never been in before, and all the people that I'd worked on previous projects were there, and then a bunch of strangers I didn't know. And we were about to walk out like at a premiere. I hadn't had a dream like that. I used to dream about premieres all the time, but it was like at the Oscars. It was me accepting like an Oscar or whatever, you know, just like fever dreaming. Yeah. And in the dream, like everybody was jumping around having a good time.
Oh my goodness.
And I remember being like, who are these strangers?
Wow.
Like, and then 2 days later, I went to JVU to meet with a guy for lunch, and a guy walked up to him and was like, hey, I'm Levi. I make movies. I was like, what?
You're like...
And I was like, and he's so quiet. He's so quiet. So I had to like pry it out of him. I was like, you make movies? He's like, yeah, I'm a film major here. I was like, you guys got gear? Like, yeah, lots of gear. And I would love to talk about DPing your project, which is like running the camera.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, that is so weird. Yeah, let's meet up. Met up with him and another guy, Josh Ridings, who eventually ended up, basically like the two of them like headed up all the JBU people and were connected and did such a great job. And like, met them, and they like brought me in and introduced me to a bunch of JBU people, and it was history. And
wow.
But it took so much waiting for the Lord to move and being willing to wait, knowing that if it was going to happen, it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And like testing the waters, making like little short films with people, like little stuff like that. But just waiting, knowing that if the Lord wanted it to, you know, if he wanted it to come to fruition, it was going to, and there was nothing that I was going to be able to do to stop it. And there wasn't. Like every time we had an error on set, you know, or if it's what you want, fix. Like instantaneously. We could talk about it for hours. Like just like the enemy is attacking in this way. Like, Lord, please just protect us in this way. Done.
Wild.
Like instant.
That's insane.
Wow.
And it was like, I mean, just, you know.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so that's where I want to be at with everything. And that's why it can be dangerous when I get in that mindset of like, I'm going to make it about me, because, you know, I don't want it to be about me. you know, as well, my sin nature wants it to be about me, but
Right.
every time that I allow the Lord to, like, every time I guess allow is an okay word. Every time I allow the Lord to move,
Mm-hmm.
it's way cooler than any time that I got to, like, be on my, like, I'm him. Like, it ends up being way cooler every time. And so, trying to be in a place where, you know, in a moment where I'm about to go stand on stage in front of hundreds of people who are going to cheer and clap and, like, tell me how cool I am. Like, being at a place where I can be humble enough to be like, it's not possible without the people that are in the crowd, and it's not possible without God above that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's tough though, you know what I mean?
It's a hard thing to continually remind yourself of, but I think it's so powerful and it's such a testament to the faith that you have been able to do that so far. Yeah. I think that's awesome.
And I mean, it really comes at the best of people who like last night, like, it's about me. No, it's not. Like, no, it's not. You know, like, you're in the wrong mindset if you're thinking that way. And, you know, and me being ticked off for a second, then being like, driving home and being like, he's right. You know, like, you know, going to bed, ticked off at yourself because you're like, oh man, let's argue for 4 hours and, you know, he was right the whole time, you know?
Right.
And, you know, but then waking up the next day and saying, all right, like, the beauty of it is, like, Lord's giving me another day and, you know, I've got 6 more days to, you know, make it about him. Yeah. You know, and the movie's done, then I get to do it all over again, you know? But,
I love it.
Trying to make sure that these 6 days are, you know, I'm willing to, but it's tough, and it's going to get tougher, you know. So, it's definitely daunting to, like, look at the future. This is about to get, like, Friday night. It's gonna be tough not to be like, oh, I did this. Like, someone's gonna get married that met tonight because of me. You know, it's like. And be like,
I love it.
Yeah. And we laugh.
I'll come up to you and check you.
Yeah,
and be like, hey.
We'll look up and be like, where are you at?
Yeah.
Like, we'll come check you.
We'll
actually,
yeah,
like, Pinky promise right here right now.
I promise.
We are going to check you and we'll say, where's your mind, where's your heart right now?
I'll be like,
we'll come up to you.
I'll be like, I'm probably freaking out right now. I promise you, I'll be like,
which is fine.
Yeah. If you're freaking out, if you're like, this is crazy, cool.
I also don't remember, like, I was telling somebody the other day, I don't remember what that feeling is like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, whenever, after repentance, like, that feeling was, like, addicting. To be like, oh my gosh, we do a huge event. It was so fun. So many people were there. Like, best friends got made tonight, you know? So I don't even remember what that's like. So I'm a little worried that I'm going to be, like, shell-shocked by it. Because,
it's been so.
You know, but my goal is I don't sit through my movies when we watch them at theaters. It's a whole thing. I don't know, but this is the one. I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
The last 2 I haven't been able to. I can't watch. I literally can't watch through them.
Is it because you don't like want to see people's reactions? It's like
I don't
first time people seeing it.
I think it's like maybe a mix of everything.
Okay.
And also, like, when you're the one that edits it, you're like, you know where all the errors are.
Oh, for sure.
You know all the moments you're like, this line is cringe. You know, it's like, and you're the writer, so it's like, who's the idiot who wrote that dumb line? Like, and I'm like, oh wait, it's literally me. Like, you know, there's no one to blame but me. But I feel really proud of this one, and there's too many people that worked on the film for me to be like, I didn't actually see people's reaction. You know,
right?
I hope that the audience, like, reacts in the way that we want them to, because that's the most on the past 2. Like, people have been, like, they'll, like, scream stuff in the audience. Like, they'll be like, oh my goodness! Like, when something important happens, you know, or like a twist will happen, and everybody go, like, I really hope that people don't take it too seriously this time.
Yeah.
Because that was like that's the best part about the last 2 has been people being like, he's got a gun, and everybody be like, like,
we just like have fun with it.
Yeah,
it should be fun.
Because I hope that people know that we're not taking it as seriously as, like, people think that we are. You know,
it's just a bunch of friends coming together to watch a movie.
Yeah,
like, I feel like that's kind of.
It just so happens that friends made the movie, and please don't make fun of the movie. You know, it's like it's like I told somebody that it was like we like got it on Letterboxd. It's like a movie review website, and you have to have 25 reviews for you to get an average, and. We were sitting there, and I told a friend, he was like, do you want me to rate it honestly, or do you want me to just, like, give it 5 stars? And I was like, rate it honestly, but if you give it below 2.5, I'll be depressed. You know, like,
There's a line.
Yeah, you're still my friend, but
So,
also
I'm still working through fully removing myself from the art and like just letting God handle it, being like, I don't care if people like it or not, because the connections that the Lord has allowed us to make is worth every minute, you know.
right.
But, and I think, you know, I'm trying to be in a place where I'm just trying to walk that line in a way that makes sense without coming across as a, you know, as a jerk or a douche, you know. And that's tough, you know, especially when you're the guy who, you know, it's your movie.
Yes.
But it's really not. Like, it's everybody's movie, and it's scary though. Like, to be like, I really don't want, you know.
Yeah.
I'm torn. I want people to know that I put the work in, but I don't want to get, you know.
Like a big head about it.
Yeah, and I don't want people to think that it was just me, you know, because like other people had handed it, and the Lord definitely did. So it's like we said the other day, I was like, I can't wait for other people to get praised for the dang good movie they made. I hope that everybody that worked on the movie, that's name is in the credits, somebody walks up to them and says that they're praying.
Yeah.
Like,
That'd be cool.
And if not, and if nobody does, I'll be the one to do it because I really am. Like, we made something cool, and
It's
but
very intentional of you.
yeah, but that's come with a lot of like not being intentional and it being about me and like making that mistake. Yeah, I think we're better for it. You know, things have been better because we're trying and we're not perfect, and you know, there's stuff to work on for next time, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that, you know, if the movie gets done, we'll be able to leave everything on the table and say like we were proud of the people that made it and the character that we showed all the way through Friday, all the way through it being done. We are proud of the character that we, you know, that we put out while we were on set and offset. But
right.
You know, it's dangerous, and you know, especially when you're doing something, it's like
Absolutely.
I'm the best, or this movie doesn't get made without these 3 people, or like these 5 people, or I hate this person. Or fortunately, we have nobody like that because we have a bunch of great people on our set. But I know in other people's situations, like I got a problem with this. Like I try to just be as like, well, you know, everybody gave me their time, and you know, I owe a commitment to them because like they committed to me. And I committed to the Lord 2.5 years ago that if He ever let me make it, that I would, you know, that I would be quick to praise Him through it. And,
yeah.
But, you know, it's just crazy to be like, oh man, like I wrote the film in, you know, 2 different countries, like 8 or 9 different states, like over the course of however long, and you know, and like now it's real, and Friday people are gonna see it, and and it's like if Kid Me could see, he'd be like, I cannot believe that this is real life. You know what I mean? Like, this is a dream come true, and wow, and how many people are here, and you know, and who's there, and what? We thought that person was so cool when we were in high school. We wanted to be friends with them so bad. They're here? Like, they came to see our thing? I try to keep that perspective. Like, back in the day, we were excited to just make movies on iPhone. I remember when slow-mo came out on the iPhone, we were like, this is the coolest thing ever. You know, it's like, and we kept that, like, there's slow-mo in this movie, you know, because we were like, we can't. We want to just, like, we want to be respectful of, like, Kid Me that was like, one day I want to make a movie that's got slow-mo and a party and, like, people dancing and cool pop music, you know? Yeah. And other people are like, let's make a serious drama. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to be true to...
Like, nope.
I'll be true to Kid Me that was like, Wild Ones will be in my movie, you know? Like, I love 2013 pop music. I'm not going to go put some, like, because I want to be artistic or cool or whatever. I'm going to be like, no, I'm about...
Have a blast.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna make a movie that, like, I would have wanted to see myself make.
Yes.
And I think even back then, like, Kid Me would have been like, oh, man, you better prioritize the Lord. Like, you better not make it about you.
Yeah.
You know?
Now you're trying to lock that out.
Yeah. Because that's something I told myself I would do when I was, you know, however years old.
That's awesome.
It's scary, and I want to be in a place where, you know, there's no doubt, you know, and, you know, I messed up, and, you know, like, everybody messed up on production, you know, made it about them, made it about whatever, once or twice. But the beauty of it is, like, we all came back together, and, I mean, there's, like, our set's a family. People who are on the set feel that way. And so, you know, whether you're there for one day like you guys were, whether you're there every day, or whether you're about to go leave here and go, like, work on it some more, like we're all part of the like TSIB fam, and the best part is like the TSIB fam just gets bigger because like
now everybody gets to see it.
Then we make then like at least 300 more people join the fam, and who knows what happens like on the next one that like probably will happen. I hope it's like
maybe if like the people who see it this Friday, they're like, wait, people I know got to be part of that. I want to be a part of that too.
And we're gonna like throw a QR code up on screen and be like, if you're interested in like even being an extra in the next one, scan the QR code, put your name in. Like we don't want any of you to miss out on the opportunity because like you're from out of town or you're from wherever. Like we brought people in from Atlanta and Tulsa and Dallas. Like we have no problem bringing people in because they're committed to our vision.
That's awesome. So speaking of that, looking forward to the next one. Do you have another idea of a movie?
I wanted to ask
okay, good. Same wavelength the whole time.
Yeah.
You can know.
You'll see on Friday. We've got like we're pretty torn on the direction. A lot of it is like we're trying to understand our DNA of like what makes a Vibrant Pictures production so great. And like learning how to evolve that with budget and with people. TSIB is awesome. There's a lot of things I would do differently. Like on the next one, not on this one, but on the next one, because you want to get better. So it's like we have ideas that are like varying in scale. We've got like a project that we really want to launch. That we're really excited about. And stuff like that. Like there's just a lot going on, and I want to be in a place where we understand our DNA and our people. We have time to check in on everybody and make sure everybody felt cared for, so we can like, if we are like, oh wow, we were off course on this thing, like let's fix that before we. But we also work like lightning fast, so between now and Friday, like things could change and us be like crazy. Well, I kind of, Josh and I, we kind of like fire each other up. So I'm going to see him tonight. There's a good chance we'll sit down and be like, we should announce this. And I'm like, that's pretty crazy. He'll be like, yeah, but
let's do
it. Yeah, he's like, what if we did? And it's usually the other way around. Josh is like, are you sure? And I'm like, Josh, picture how cool it is. Think how cool we can look. I
love it.
But yeah, we're gonna. We got some stuff to tell people on Friday.
Okay. I'm excited.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. New projects.
Hopefully things will get things are gonna get bigger in a good way.
Okay.
I'm scared, but in a good way. Yeah, I'm excited, and Friday's gonna be so awesome. Just to like, I mean, who doesn't want to dress up in a suit or a dress or whatever? And like,
do you have your suit? Are you ready?
I just got mine back from the dry cleaners yesterday, so
let's
hang it up in my room. Yeah, so I'm still trying to decide if I want to retire. That's like the big. Josh and I were debating that the other day. I think I'm going to. I don't know. We'll see.
But is there like a color scheme for the space in between and all that y'all have decided, or
we like?
I was like, could y'all color scheme it?
We kind of have one at the beginning, but things move so fast. That's stuff that like aesthetic things that we want to fix for the next time is like making sure that our vision across all social media and our project and the wardrobe and the color of the film. Like we want that all to match next time.
Okay.
And so that's something that we're learning and doing research on and reading books on is like, absolutely.
Like color theory?
What does it look like? And like, for example, I love the look of film. I think film photography is so cool. And I would love for the next one to be intertwined with that somehow. And so if we intertwine it with film photography, like 35 millimeter stuff, like does our social media has to change and the colors have to change because colors that come out of a film camera are different than colors that come out of an iPhone or a Sony camera or whatever. So stuff like that where it's like we want to be in a position. Someone told us the other day, they were like, you are all students, but you don't feel like a student film set. So how do we go from it's a student film but not really to now it's a film like we want to be taken seriously in a new space.
Yes.
And the next step of that is uniformity in brand.
That makes sense.
And so not a lot of other people's films like have social medias that are, our age that are run with consistent posting and like,
right.
Y'all done a great job.
Oh, it's engagement's been really
for sure.
I've loved it. It's so fun. And it's like we just want to make sure that everybody knows what's going down and they're posting about the like fashion stuff.
Yeah, it keeps us very well informed as an audience.
Yeah.
And we're just
Which
hoping
is
that
awesome.
the right people see it, and that we can pack out the Fayetteville High School auditorium and
Absolutely.
break a record, and like
Yeah.
and get to turn up a little bit, like just to get to jump around and celebrate. And, it's gonna be so fun. It's like not real yet. Like I haven't thought about it.
Right. You're like, I have to get through this week first, and then I can celebrate.
Once the
Friday.
movie gets done, that's where like I'm like trying to speed run finishing the edit, so that way I can like have like 2 or 3 days to be like, I'll have a little space in between, that
Yeah.
we said all the time, we'll be like, well, we got to hand at 9 o'clock, so what are we gonna do in the space in between? Just I want to have at least a day to just be like, I know Josh and I had planned on getting dinner on Thursday, like, and like no movie talk.
I like it.
Unless it's just like
Excitement.
how cool is it that we get to do this? Not like we need to do this, like
Right. No work
Not
talk.
work talk.
just like, well, I'm pumped that we get to do this. So let's talk about our favorite moments,
Yeah.
So my hope is that we're entirely done with everything by Thursday night.
Got it.
That being said,
We'll see.
We'll see. If you follow along on my Instagram story, you might be getting messages that are like, it's 3 a.m. on Friday, and that's how it's been the last 2. So it's not going to happen this time. I just can't imagine. I wish that I could express my excitement, because like it's like a ball of energy in my head. I'm like, and it's never. This is the best thing I've ever made.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Like it like feels like I almost want to like, before you watch, make an Instagram. It's like, before you watch blank, watch this, and it's like our old stuff, so people can see like
Where y'all come from?
These guys were terrible. Like they're actually like sufficient now.
Yeah.
I just that's like, I remember watching Aegis and thinking it was the coolest thing ever. Like watching Pennington, think it was the coolest thing ever. And I watched the space in between, and it is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
And then I can't wait on the next one to cringe at TSIB because it was actually trash compared to the next thing. But looking back.
Yeah.
Everything to be.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I love it, and I guess I'll just do it until I keep making movies until God tells me not to, and then I'll go.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do insurance sales. So I guess
Wherever.
that's the plan right now. But,
Right. You're like, I have to do something practical now.
yeah. Don't worry, the movies will still exist.
Good.
I hope. But if they don't, like, I will feel perfectly comfortable leaving this on the table and saying that, especially with it being like a personal story. Like,
Yeah.
I will feel so comfortable being like, you know what? The last one that we made, I put everything I had into it, and everyone had the best time. Walked the red carpet, got pictures, posted by them. So
Right.
That's but if the Lord lets me make another one, then that's the last one I'm ever going to make, and that's the one that I want to change people's lives, and then I'll just keep doing that. Being grateful for it, like it's the last one, and then the Lord like renews my membership to the filmmaking community.
Obsessed.
And
I
keep
love
going.
that mindset.
Oh, that's great.
But I love the membership. I hope he renews me, because I really want him
That
to
would be wonderful.
Yeah.
So very grounded.
try to.
Yeah.
I like it's come with a lot of like
Time.
and a lot of time spent like being depressed that I'm 22, don't have an Oscar, and realizing, wait a second,
You're like,
no one has an Oscar at 22. the young, I mean, my goal is still to be the youngest director, best director. Like that's like always gonna be my.
Well, do you know what the youngest age is right now?
29 years old.
Okay.
Got it. It was like Damien. Have you seen La La Land?
Yes.
Damien Chazelle did La La Land.
Oh wow. Okay.
I can't remember if he got it for that or for Whiplash, but that's my goal. My like extraneous like material goal.
Yep.
But so I have to give until I'm 30. If I'm 30 and it doesn't work out, then I'll be like, well, mission failed. Like, I guess I'll go full time somewhere else. But I love being creative, and I don't think the Lord is gonna like.
The Lord's not going to take away your gift.
Right, and it may not be in film, but I think that the like creative thinking, the critical thinking that the Lord has given me, I can use for His glory anywhere. Not just in film.
Absolutely.
And so it just is awesome that the thing that I love more than anything is the thing that the Lord's letting me do right now. Not a lot of people can say that, and so I try to be grateful that by the time I was 14, the Lord told me I wanted to make. The Lord put that passion on my heart, and He hasn't let me, He hasn't let me astray with it.
Right.
And so, like the fact that I get to be a part of that still, like as long as the Lord wants to keep letting me cook there, like I will stay in the kitchen. But whenever he's like, it's time to go serve somewhere else, I'll be like, all right. And he did for 2.5 years. So I know what that feels like. And I'm fully prepared on this one to like take 2.5 years off.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to do that? Absolutely not. I want to be shooting in October. But if that's what it takes for the Lord to work through TSIB and get me in the right headspace to get back at it, heck yeah. Like,
for sure.
I'm ready, and the next movie will be better for it. But
right.
So are you taking time off after?
Like, do you plan to?
Do you plan to? Okay.
I'll take a little bit of time just to enjoy the art, not to like
analyze it.
Yeah, like I'm gonna write more stuff that I really love and enjoy it like as a hobby again, and be like, oh, I love this scene, it'd be a dream.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, the next thing I write is gonna be the thing that we shoot. I'm gonna write, and some magic's gonna pop up, and I'm gonna go, oh, I love this idea. And maybe I've got a guy that I really like, and he's writing another script for me. We've been working on this. I just want to find. And maybe Christian sends me a script that I really love, and I'm like, all right, Christian, thanks for sending me this on April 18th, April 20th. Let's have a meeting about it, But I'm trying to, I'm gonna take a week away and like not watch like any media and just
right.
I know like my goal on Letterboxd I have like 10 movies to go before I'm at 500. 500 movies watched, like new movies. And so my goal is to watch 9 movies this week while I'm like doing the editing.
Okay.
So I can have TSIB be my 500th movie on Letterboxd.
That's so perfect.
That.
I know, that's so sweet.
I love it.
And like that's like my like cute like. So like I went to Australia yesterday. That was like my like commitment to my goal.
I like it.
So has that been your like best time?
Has been like watching other movies.
And like just like
taking a break.
Yeah, I mean, my friends Luke and Gabe and Jackson and Alan, especially, like I'm in their house all the time, and they keep me grounded. And hey, man, you're doing a great job. Keep the good work. I started door dashing just because I think it's really funny. And so like Gabe and I will just go DoorDash and like we'll talk about the movie and just talk about random stuff and talk about like Clash of Clans and a little bit of movie talk and talking about like, oh, this trip that I went on, this road trip or whatever. We're talking about our faith or whatever that may be. I'm just like having a conversation like that with a guy like him. Like that's so fulfilling to me. Like on Monday nights when we're at the BCM, one service happens and then my friend Luke and I are the only ones that go to a different service. And so he and I get to spend one-on-one time together and, conversations are always awesome. And, I feel fulfilled by that. And I feel motivated to go edit for 3 hours because I got to have a great conversation with Luke. Or, yesterday I got to spend a bunch of time with Alan and Faddis and like, that was super life-giving just to get to go play like glow dodgeball with them, with like students at a church.
You went to Breakthrough?
Yeah.
So fun.
It's like just to get to do stuff like that. Like
good that you have people for you.
Yeah. And I mean, and calling my parents too, like just my mom and dad being like, you're doing a great job. Like keep going. Like that. I mean,
the encouragement of your community.
Yeah. And just letting I have a tendency to like push that away when I'm working hard. And like letting those people be there for me, like that has been that's been significant. But I mean, I want to be in a place where I don't like die for this movie, but I want to die for the people, that make the movie.
Yeah.
And so whatever that takes, if that's going to take me putting like 20 hours in the next 4 days, like I'll do it, because like I think the Lord has used our movie to touch people's lives and, and has been able to use me and other people like to get to be a part of that story. And, that like, it takes what it takes. My dad says all the time, like, what does it take to be great? What does it take to do this? What does it take to accomplish your goal? Like, it just takes what it takes. And you don't know what it takes until you get done. But I'm just going to keep going until I figure out what it takes and then it's done. And it's out in the ether and, we're all there on Friday in suits and dresses watching it. And, Masochist plays and the movie ends.
This song's been stuck in my head, like, since we...
Every time I listen to it, like, I, like, cannot fathom, what's it called? Like, the feeling of, like, the movie ending and then getting to be like, oh, I was just done. Like, but wait a second. I'm done with TSIB. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that feeling,
right.
Like, I will not know, like, that's something I don't remember. Like, I don't remember being like, I finished Aegis. I don't remember what that feels like. So we're going to get a videographer to like follow us around that whole day. Because I want to remember. Like I want to.
That's cool.
You know,
That's awesome.
my goal is like if the film thing doesn't work out to have like the coolest dad lore ever. So like
for
obsessed.
I like will
We've
bring
already achieved it.
Be like, your dad made 3 movies.
yeah, it's like and like here son, time for required viewing, and it's like the space in between. Like and my kid's like, Dad, this was made 20 years ago. You know, like
Yeah.
when he turns 16, he gets to watch the space in between for the first time. You know, but like I want to have a video that documents like that feeling of wow, we did it. Like
It's special.
yeah, it's like a home. It's like a home movie. Like that's what I want to feel like. That I mean is like I haven't done that before. That's another step in like we haven't had a composer. We haven't had original music. We haven't we haven't documented a premiere. We have no videos from any premieres we've been to.
Yeah.
Like so to get to have like a bazillion photos and videos of this one, like that's gonna be so cool. Just go back and watch it. I want to remember what I said. You know, at the like right before we showed Pennington. I want to remember what I said. No, I don't remember, but I want to be sure that I can remember all the people that I thank for their commitment and them have a video of that so they can show their parents who aren't there and be like, look at this, like, there's 500 people in the stands and my name got said. Like, that's so cool.
Right, that's so special.
Yeah.
But that's part of, like, dreaming about it forever. I mean, like, if I ever got a chance to do this, then I would do.
You do it right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did it wrong. So it's like, it's easy to do it right when you messed up, you know? When you get up there and like, I did this, I like, you know, like we've done before. I get to step into a space and be like, this movie is literally not possible without over 100 people. I just so happen to be the guy that got lucky enough to meet them all, you know? And he's like, so he said, like, we've got a killer cast and a stellar crew and an illegitimate director who's like just happy to be part of it all. Sometimes I feel like that. Like, I'm like, wow, like, I'm so lucky. I'm like the luckiest guy ever. And I think I'm good at what I do, but like, I think I'm way luckier than I am talented. Like, and that's fine with me. I love just getting to be like, I can't believe I tricked all you guys into thinking that I was smart enough to make it happen, you know? Like, and then they're like, don't worry, we got you. And they like run the camera, run the sound, run the lighting, and or act their tails off. And it's like, I didn't even have to do anything. Like, you just like, you did all the work, you know? I just got to be the guy that was like, hey, can we do that again? But this time, can you do this one thing differently? They're the ones that are putting all the work and, you know, I'm getting it paid back on the back end because I'm editing the whole thing. But, like, it's easy to edit when, you know, every scene I watch, I'm like, oh, there's magic. Like, there's magic in this because I remember it being cute that, like, I don't know. I remember we're filming a scene and like Davis Nestor is sitting in the well right next to us. And, like, I'm like dying of laughter because he's like curled up in a ball in this well. Like little stuff like that where it's like, what are you doing? But it's so funny and it's so vibrant. Like it's so us that it's like, I'll take that any day of the week. I'll take somebody like Fortnite dancing in the back and, you know, somebody sitting in the well and like 3 people eating donuts and 7 people in a car, like bumping Taylor Swift in the background. We're having to tell them to turn it down, you know? Like,
that's awesome.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I'll take that any day of the week over some like production where it's like soulless because we're weird and random, and that's just like what makes Vibrant so great is that like I don't care, like
and Vibrant is y'all's production
Yeah.
studio.
Like,
right?
bring-
The name of it.
like bring your weirdness to, you know, our set and let us weaponize your weirdness.
Yeah.
You know, for us, I'm so freaking weird. Like people tell me all the time, they're like, you're literally like a psychopath. Why are you doing this? Like,
That's so funny.
that is such a big project. You're about to graduate. You're supposed to be having senioritis. And I'm like, I haven't even thought about the fact that I graduate. You know, it's like, like I haven't thought about that once. On the 20th, I'm going to freak out. I almost didn't rip my cap and gown. My mom had to do it for me. I forgot.
That's incredible.
That's gonna be me when I graduate. I'm gonna be like, I don't have time to walk.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
I literally was like, what am I doing? My mom was like, I got your cap and gown. I was like, I was supposed to get that? You know, it's like,
Wait.
it's like, dude, like
Wait, it's graduation in a month?
Yeah, I have not processed that at all. Like,
crazy.
today's like the 14th, I think.
Yep.
Today's the 14th, yes.
Like, I graduate in 26 days. And I had not thought about that literally once.
Until right now.
Yep.
Perfect.
That is really scary. But
And now you're
existential dread is setting in. Too bad I have the movie. I can't think about how I'm meant to be. I mean, it's like, it's so like, I wouldn't have it any way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people think I'm literally insane for doing this, and they are probably right. You know, like,
We don't see it like that.
But-
No,
but it's like,
so you following your passion.
but
Yeah.
and see, that's like, I would do it again.
Yep.
You know, like, if we could get on set on the 20th with a new script and it was already pre-produced, like, I'm there. I'm there. And like on the 20th, like, there's some people at JBU that are doing like a directing showcase. I'm gonna be there
Wow.
because they were in my movie. I owe it to them to be there. That's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just that's the person I'm trying to lead as, is somebody that, you know, goes to meet people where they're at. And, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we met a lot of our JBU actors when I went to see them in Adam's Family.
That's
Like,
awesome.
That's
and
so
then,
fun.
like, I saw Lewis and Eden, his girlfriend, who I'm just like, I think the two of them would be incredible in the next film together. Like,
Aw.
and it means, you know, and it's like,
Yeah.
like, I care about Lewis, and if Lewis cares about Eden, then so should I. You know, and like, as a result, like, I'm gonna go see them at the prom, and I'm gonna go support them. You know, and
Yeah.
like, and then care enough to trust
They're
that, you know,
so good in that.
they
musical.
were literally so.
I wish I
It
could.
was
I went out of
so
town
It
when
was
it was.
so
Yeah.
fun.
I was sitting there and I was like, wait, I know him.
Yeah, he's the goat. I just like, and you know, and like, trusting. Like,
Yeah.
if Lewis trusted me, so like, I should trust Lewis. And if Lewis thinks that this is a good idea, then I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
You know? And so when he was like, you know, my girlfriend acts, and I'm like, no, I didn't know that. And he's like, yeah, we're really great in scenes together. Being like, you know what? Like, you trusted me first. I owe it to you.
Yeah.
Deal, I'm in. And you know what? Every time that I've trusted like that, you know, 90% of the time, it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the 10% of the time it doesn't work, you know what? Like, you can't really knock it because you trusted your friend, you know?
Exactly.
And so, like, on the next one, like, I don't know if they watch this. Eden doesn't know this yet. But it's like, I'm gonna have to sit down and be like, I've got this idea, and I'm like, dying to have you two be in it. You know? And like, and why? You don't even know me. Like, or like, people say this about production. You don't even know us. Why would you let me run the lights, the camera, the sound, or whatever? Right? You trusted me first. I'm just repaying the favor. You know, that's crazy. But
Yeah.
it's worked. And maybe it won't work in the future, but every time I say, you know what, I'm not going to trust people, it doesn't work. So,
Yeah. It's what's working now, and it's
yep.
awesome.
And I hope it works. Like,
It's gotten you this far, and where you're at right now is great.
and is the only thing that, like, if budget increases and that's the only thing that increases, like, do we get, you know, is that the only thing that's changing for us?
Mhm.
You know, like, is trusting each other enough? I don't know. We're going to find out, you know,
Absolutely.
and we're either going to lose a little bit of money or we're going to make a really good movie. And there's no way of knowing, but, you know, that's part of the trust thing, is you got to take a risk so other people can. You know?
Right.
So all it
Super
comes
cool.
back to is
Super cool.
I'm gonna take a risk so all my friends can take risks, and that'd be fun.
That'd be really sick.
It is a good movie. It's good. You should come see it.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah,
We'll be there.
we'll be there.
That's true.
Hang
you
out
guys can.
hang out with cool people.
Y'all, we can hear y'all in the movie. Y'all's line, like, you can hear it. Like, when you're
Hey, Jack.
you're like the first person to talk, like the first extra to talk in the movie.
I think it's
What?
I think it's her. She goes, "Hey, Jack,"
Yeah.
and then we walk into the room. We say, "Hey, everybody."
I don't know what to say to that.
That's crazy. We're in a movie.
Everybody, we fortunately we were able to like get every extra in the movie.
Oh my gosh,
no way.
right.
Like, everybody that's there, like, at least is in it for like a second or two.
Thank you
That's
so
sick.
I
That's cool to find out, because I was fully expecting. I was like, that scene's not gonna make it. I don't know why. I was like, it's not. Gonna
They
make
have
it.
to.
I was just like,
It was the only
I
way.
was just like,
That's right at the beginning.
all my thought process was just like, I love Sam.
Uh-huh.
This is how I can help Sam. No, I was just like, Sam needs people. I'm there. Like, I
Exactly.
didn't even think about
I was
like
the same way.
I'm talking in the movie.
It's so fun. You guys like 4 or 5 seconds of fame. You're famous.
Yes.
You might get like twice in
Yes.
like beginning.
That's wild. That's
Yeah.
wild.
It's so fun. And like, oh my gosh, it's like so funny seeing like, it looks good. Like, it doesn't, like,
Yeah.
there hasn't been anything that I've like had to add.
That's
That's
awesome.
Like, I'm like, oh man, this is like, I'm like actually enjoying editing this because it's like not bad footage. Like, I'm actually like enjoying the process.
Good.
And it's not always been like that. So it's easy to be like, I'm going to go leave here and edit for 5 hours because like, I'm excited about like the product. Like, it looks good and it sounds good. Really, that's all you could ask for. But I don't make the rules. I'm just the guy that found the people, you know?
That's awesome.
If you ask
That's
me.
very cool.
But if other people ask, you can say me. It'll make me feel good about myself.
We'll hype you up.
Yeah, we got you.
We know the director.
We're encouragers. We hype people up.
I love. It's so funny when people are like, I know the director, whatever. And they like expect it. Like, hi, I really loved your movie. I'm like, dude, thanks so much, bro. And they're like, what the heck is this guy's deal? Like, they think I'm gonna be so serious. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what up? Like,
Yeah.
that's just how I try to be. You know, it's cool. It makes people shocked, and then I like fluster them on accident. I'm like,
I mean,
wow.
you just did it to me.
Yeah.
I was speechless.
We literally.
people.
We're in the movie.
It's like people are like, he's so serious. Like that's what I was like. I was talking to Josh about like the pre-film speech. I was like, can we make it like not super serious? So like people know that we had a good time making this, and we're not like, hello, we are artists. Like
You're like, no,
I love doing this.
like that's what you want to be.
We talked about like, should we have like a walkout song? We were like, it'd be so fun.
Absolutely. And it should be the movie song.
Yes.
We thought that'd be cute. And, like there's a couple options that we're like, oh man. Like we're just wondering if it's corny. Like what is it? Yeah, we're just like, is it corny? Like, or is it funny because it's corny?
Who cares though? Because if y'all are having a
Do
good
we all
time,
want to?
everybody else.
That is true.
Mhm.
I gotta come up with like we're supposed to like make a little. Have none of that, but
You'll hey,
It
you have a week.
yep,
You'll
I
get it.
have literally 5 days to
Yep.
finish a movie.
Yeah,
Yep.
You're
You're gonna do it.
It's like so much time.
You're gonna do it.
If I really needed it, I could like call the dogs in and we could all like work together on it. But
Hunker down.
yeah, we'll like go. Fattest has a cabin. I was like, Fattest was not in my Monday. I'm gonna like get in this cabin for like 2 days.
I like it. Okay.
But
I'll
it's
bring
gonna
you
be
food.
done. It's gonna be done.
I'll just deliver you food at the door and like.
Literally, we'll DoorDash for you that
Yeah.
time.
Thank goodness.
There we go.
That's so
Yeah.
awesome.
Uh,
Yeah.
So I think we're at a good stop.
Yeah, I think so.
A classic question: what's been your sunshine and rain?
Yeah. So we end all of our episodes with kind of our version of happy and crappy. So we
Yeah.
do what's your sunshine, what's your happy
Okay.
moment, what's your rain, which is like your lesser, not as great moment.
Okay. I'll go my rain first. Yesterday was tough. Because I had what's it called? I had a full free day, and then I ended up going to like help my friend Luke do his first D now. He just took the job at First Baptist Huntsville, and it was his first D now,
Okay.
and so he needed somebody to take pictures, and I was like, you know what, I'll go do it.
Okay, yeah.
Burnt a whole day doing that, and so I was like really stressed about the movie. But the result of that is the sunshine, which is that, I'd seen him dream about like getting to run a student ministry and getting to do that well and getting to lead people. And, a lot of things were just like, it was tough. Like, plans change, schedules change, that sort of thing. And seeing him roll with the punches was just, it was so cool. Especially after, actually just like seeing him like dream of that for so long. To get to see the way that his students like look up to him already, and to see the event, it was excellent. It was so fun and good food, and it was just a blast. Like, that was, it made like the sunshine was like crushed immediately because I was like, what? Like, I'm so proud of you. To get to at the end of the day, be like, man, like, that's so cool. This is like your TSIB. Like, you dreamed of this.
Yeah.
That was like, it was just like surreal. And see him be proud of it was like, oh man, it was so awesome. And to get take pictures of him, like,
That's awesome.
yeah, and get to send those to him. I gotta do that. But it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just so cool to see that.
Yeah.
But
That's so cool.
that's such a fun question. That's so wholesome.
You gonna do ours too?
I don't know.
Okay, yes, we're doing ours.
Okay.
I don't know why you froze when I asked you.
I get caught off guard a lot.
You go first.
Oh.
I'll just go ahead.
Okay.
I'm just not realizing I missed the green memo. I had this color on
yeah.
today, and then I totally missed the green memo.
It was
well.
unintentional.
Yeah.
Yesterday, this whole weekend's been amazing and great and life-giving. We went and hung out all day. Like, our Saturday is our like friendship day.
Yeah, it's our rest day, and when we really think about it, like,
It's the only day we
it
get
should
to
be
hang out.
when do we get to like delight in what the Lord's brought us, and the number one thing that the Lord's brought us is each other. So
That's so
spend
cool.
time together.
That's so good.
Rain. I don't know. I don't really have one. I'm just tired. But I stayed up till 2 a.m. because we were like having double feature movie night. So like I did it to myself. So
And
like
it was
I
working.
didn't even have like a
What did you guys watch?
Top Gun.
1 and
Oh, yeah.
It was perfect.
There
It was
you
wonderful.
It was
Lauren Hill
very-
watches. These are real ones. That's her. Top Gun Maverick is her favorite movie.
Wait, love.
Yeah.
So good. Really?
And Glenn Powell's my dream actor.
No, wait.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm
Are you
obsessed
see?
with him.
He's so good. He lives in Austin.
Talented. Oh.
He's an Austin.
You're like me.
He's an Austin guy. Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. My sunshine was getting to start with 9th grade girls this morning.
Yay!
It was like, oh my, it's been an answered prayer. Like getting to like see this happen. It's just really cool to like finally like get to be at the point of serving and teaching.
Yeah.
I just love it. And then my rain, I'm also really tired, but not from last night. I just feel like school's just been heavy, and like
I'm in
my next 3 weeks are a marathon.
Yeah.
And
I did it.
And I'm running. And you know what? The Lord's going to be my strength through it all because I don't know what else to rely on.
Same.
So,
Yep. This weekend will be a good break too, just with like, there's a lot of stuff going on this weekend. And
so
like,
much. Yeah.
Our Queen Taylor Swift, the second most important thing happening
I
this
live in
weekend.
the mall.
What do you mean?
Oh,
Taylor
Taylor
Swift movie premiere.
Well, I knew movie.
And the like Springtime of Youth.
Springtime of
series.
Youth.
I'm so excited about that too.
Oh, I didn't
Like
know
music
about that.
festival that the school puts on.
Yeah.
I mean, I just didn't.
Which is funny because it was like row weekend, soy, and I'm like, rock on.
Yeah.
Like 3 music festivals and
Yeah.
I'm obsessed.
And so I'm it'll be a good break. But then it will be rain for the next 3 weeks.
And you're like, oh, graduation.
It's
crazy.
That's all right. It's gonna be exciting.
Yeah.
You kind
It'll be good.
I'll get to see all my family up here, and that's like
Oh,
I
that's
never get to see my
exciting.
family up there. So
That's exciting.
2 back-to-back, or like nearly back-to-back weekends, because I'll see them this weekend. Big deal.
They're coming up.
Mom and Dad, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so excited, and my brother and sister are gonna be here. It'll be good. So
That's really
yeah,
exciting.
the whole fam pulling up.
Yay. That is so exciting.
Yeah, I'm so pumped.
Well,
Thank
that was a
you so
wonderful
much
episode.
for
Thank you
coming.
for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It was
It's so much fun. I'm pumped.
I'm so pumped.
I'm so excited. Y'all check it out. April
19th.
Be there, 7
The link will
p.m.
be in the description.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, support.
It's gonna be so fun.
Please. Buy
Yeah.
tickets, show up. We'd love to see everybody.
Please,
Mhm.
I'll sign your ticket.
Wait, I'm gonna actually make you sign.
Wait,
the
same.
ticket.
We always do like autographs and stuff. Like
No way.
it's so cute and wholesome. We like used to sign people's foreheads.
Oh,
That's sick.
post on your forehead. Yeah.
I will if you ask. I'll.
If you're willing to have it on your forehead, I
Yeah.
think that's sick.
That's very funny and
That'd be sick.
a waste of space on your forehead. But I'll do it.
We love y'all.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
blessed day.